Let's in fact discuss some of these ideas. Mayuresh Joshi, fund manager at Angel Broking, is joining us on the phone line. Mayuresh, pleasure as always chatting with you, and as always, let me start with what you would recommend on the index at these levels.
Morning. So from the index, clearly I think from the results that have come so far, I think Ultratech posted a decent set of numbers on the EBITDA front. So the margins at 17.4% were a pleasant surprise. And the management commentary thereof, with uptick expected in volumes in second half, along with pricing going up, that augurs well for the stock. So our own take is with installed capacity by the end of FY17, including JP Associates 4.9 MTPA plants taken over at 71.2 MTPA. I think that will have sufficient amount of capacity both on the north and the southern peninsula as far as India is concerned. And clearly I think the EBITDA margin should sustain because the input cost, specifically pet coke consumption, which has gone up and has fallen significantly, I think that will aid margins going forward. So I think Ultratech looks like a very decent bet from the large cap universe. And again, from the top tier IT names, Infosys is something that we'll continue to like over the next 4 to 6 quarters. So headwinds are eminent for the next 2 quarters. Our take is over the next 4 to 6 quarters with client mining activities picking up, utilization levels improving, and valuations remaining quite decent. Infosys would also remain one of our top picks.
How about Biocon, Mayuresh? Waiting for numbers from that one, and that's seeing a little bit of momentum in trade today.
So Biocon is expected to post a decent set of numbers. However, I think from the pharma pack, what we really like within the mid-cap universe would still be something like an Aurobindo Pharma, where our belief is that the formulation growth would be quite substantial. The kind of injectables that one is looking at, approvals if they come through the next 2 years, I think high margin business on that front. So Aurobindo on valuations also around 17.5 times, looks decently poised. Biocon, decent set of numbers, but again, I think the ROEs, ROCs with the kind of capex that they've done would remain more or less constrained. So the price band for Biocon would be a 5 to 10% on the top line and the lower end of the band. So it will have a 10% move. Aurobindo looks much more attractive in the mid-cap universe at this point.
Okay, mid-cap IT is in focus. We had NIT Tech yesterday. You have Emphasis, which will come out with its earnings tomorrow. Mindtree has had a good run so far. So from the mid-cap IT space, do you have any picks?
So largely neutral at this point of time, and yes, I think the numbers were quite impressive. So if you look at NIT Tech or even Mindtree for that matter, with the acquisitions of Bluefin and Relationship Solutions, I think that is working wonders for them. So the EBITDA margin specifically for Mindtree, in our opinion, would stay within the 18 to 20% band. But again, I think the kind of investments that they've done, the yield on investments would probably have some amount of toll on the EBITDA margin. So I think clearly good set of numbers, but again, the focus would be on the top tier companies. So Infosys, TCS remain our top picks, but again, with a 4 to 6 quarter perspective.
Okay, how about some of the banking picks today, Mayuresh? What are you making of the bank Nifty, and do you have any picks from there?
So again, largely biased towards the large cap private space, and with payment banks coming through, I think over the next few years, you're going to see some amount of pressure creep through, at least on the CASA accretion front for the lower rung private sector banks. And clearly, I think the larger ones have the leverage benefits of a huge branch network. The capital adequacy remains extremely strong. And then, though there might be some asset quality issues which might persist for a quarter or two, with improving dynamics specifically on the advances side and specifically on the retail advances side, the private banks look strongly poised for a decent earnings growth over the next 2 years. So I think we'll continue preferring the larger private sector banks and Axis, HDFC Bank, ICICI, and yes, among a few names that we like.
Okay, all right, Mayuresh. Thanks very much for joining us. Some of your takes that we're tracking the markets today. And let's take a very quick break. On the other side, we'll tell you what some of the other stocks that we're tracking today from the mid-cap universe are.